Hey, Martin here. Today gonna show you how to install a GenRight 30.5 gallon fuel tank and skid plate in your 84 through 01 Jeep Cherokee XJ. Alright, well let's get started. Oh, yeah. This is one sexy looking tank. Wow. I can see baffles in here. Off-highway use only. Alright, got it uncrated. Let's get a good close look at this thing. I mean, that's like a work of art. You look down in there, you can see that it's baffled on both sides of the tank, which I think is really cool. Keep the gas from sloshing around so much. I mean, you don't even have to install the gas tank separate from the skid plate. This is all one piece. Going to bolt right up to your unibody. Beautiful TIG welds. It's all aluminum. Looks like we've got stainless steel straps here. 3/16 of an inch thick skid plate. And this is not supposed to reduce any clearance of the vehicle. Alright, I've got all the hardware removed from the skid plate. Loosen that one bolt, seeing how this comes out of here. Alright, and here is your gas fill inlet and then your vent tube. Go ahead and loosen and remove these two hoses. These are also going to be pretty easy to remove since I changed these out a couple years ago. They looked like they were starting to break down. I was getting some black stuff inside the fuel tank. I noticed when I changed out that fuel pump assembly, and the only thing I could figure out where it's coming from were these hoses. Okay, I got the clamps loosened up. These may come off a lot tougher for you. Like I said, I replaced these not that long ago. Okay, those are removed. Alright, get our connector here undone. And they got these little locks on them here. You got to get those. There you go. See that? You don't have to remove the lock completely, just get it over here far enough. Push this down. There you go. And then we got a vent hose and the fuel line. Okay. On the fuel line, there's a couple little tabs. You just got to squeeze those. And you'll get a little gas coming out. I probably should have relieved the pressure. Yes, I most definitely should have relieved the pressure first. Alright, next, get underneath here, loosen these nuts that hold the gas tank straps on. Now, if yours haven't been off in a long time, this is probably going to be pretty rusty. You may want to clean it up with a wire brush, some penetrating oil. This fuel tank's been off before. I put a new fuel pump sending unit assembly in here, so this isn't going to give me any problems at all. 9/16, and away you go. Now you don't have to remove this nut completely, just enough to get it loose enough that you can lift this up and get it unhooked from up here. And another good thing is you're never going to reuse these again. So if you destroy them, twist them off, getting this tank out of here, so be it, because the new tank doesn't need these at all. Alright. Okay, I got about probably 4 or 5 gallons of gas in here. I think I can handle this. As you saw, I just pushed up on this and it just hooks up around there. Okay, gas tank coming down. Okay, remove the stock straps. Just gotta twist that, and out they come. Alright, now we got the gas tank removed. And now we want to get this fuel pump assembly out of here. I went ahead and cleaned this area around here. I don't want no dirt getting into this tank, because I'm probably going to salvage it. Now, we got this big lock ring, or a big nut on here, and it's usually somewhat tight, and you got these nice little teeth right here. I just get like a big screwdriver or a pry bar and tap on there, get this moving. Yep, there we go. Now I changed this fuel pump assembly out, like I said, a couple years ago, and it should be safe to reuse it. But what I am going to do is put a new screen on it, pickup screen, and that is your only filter. If you're still running your original one and it's 15 plus years old, this would be a great time to change it out. The one that I'm running is a Spectrum Premium, made by Carter. It was around $120. That's not bad at all. There we go. Yep, screen just fell off. That doesn't look horrible. They are totally white when you get them in there new, but it's not like it's filled with a bunch of dirt or anything. And I would recommend replacing the gasket. I've had this fuel tank for a few months and finally getting around to installing it. I had this all covered up so no dust would get in. Okay, I got a brand new gasket here. Go ahead and put that in. Okay, I've decided to go ahead and buy a brand new pump assembly, brand new tank. I'm not going to mess around. So I got a Delphi, so basically a factory one. They're $200 at AutoZone with a lifetime warranty. Okay, drop it in here. Comes with a new gasket. And what you're going to want to do too, this arrow, you want it to point just like that toward the back. You want to apply a small amount of grease to help slide it in there. It comes with this cool wrench. Kind of tighten it up, but don't go too crazy with it. You don't really need to, because you can end up distorting the gasket that's there. Alright, that's ready. And this is where having some help would be really nice. This thing is not light. Alright, the new pump didn't come with this piece here, so we've got to reuse this and be careful. Now, simply put that on there. It's going to snap on. Take your fuel line. And that's on there, okay? And then I took off the factory vent hose. Put it on here. Just like that. Now we're ready to put it back up there. Alright, I've test fitted the fuel tank, and I had this bolt in here. It lines up good with this hole and this hole as well. And then you also have, there's one here and this very back one. They all line up pretty good with those. Now it has one more, and it is way toward the forward right there. I've marked it. So I'm going to go ahead and drill this hole and then figure out how to get a bolt from there. And I think I'm going to try fishing it through here, and I'll show you how I do that. The filler side, driver side, it was pretty much the same thing. Lines up with this one, this one. I had this existing one for a trailer hitch that I had in here, and then it lines up good with this one, and then the same situation right there. I marked that one. Alright, what I'm going to try to do is feed a wire through here over to that other hole right there. See how it came right out of there? Okay, and then we're going to tie the bolt on the back of this and pull it right through the unibody. Alright, I've just taped the bolt on there, some electric tape. We'll see how this works. Drop it in the frame there, pull it over here, and look at that. And there you go. Now I'm going to do the same with this location here. We already got the one here, and those two already have like the nut type plates in them, so we'll be good on this side. Okay, here on the driver's side, just right below the fill and vent hoses, there's a pretty good size oblong hole from the factory right there. Got the bolt here taped onto a piece of copper wire, and it's run through the frame right here. Okay, so bust that bolt in there. Now come over here, start pulling gently, and of course the hole is a little bit bigger to allow for that that piece of wire and everything go through. And there we go. Sides here. It's a little preventive measure because that bolt folds up in that frame, and you're probably not going to get it out without taking the fuel cell back down. Okay, I'm using a hydraulic, just a floor jack. Got it balanced in there, raising this up into place. probably wiggle it past your bolts here for the shackles. Okay, now that I've got it relatively close, there we go. Now we can go ahead and raise it all the way up. It's time to go get some help. Okay, we got the fuel tank lifted up. We got the 3 bolts started on each side, and I'll finish with the 4th one later. Alright, after getting the fuel tank up and reconnect everything, like the fill hose and the vent hose, I did have a couple small issues. I did replace these 2 hoses back when I replaced my fuel pump, like over a year and a half ago or so. But and right on here it says 31.5 millimeter. Okay, that is the end of the stock fuel tank, and this end up here is around 38 millimeters. And then this one here, this connection is smaller than the stock connection, so the hose literally expands on the other side. I mean, they're pre-formed, you know, they're pre-expanded or whatever you want to call it. They're made to fit. Now, it looks like GenRight took these dimensions and transferred them over to the fuel tank when they were building the fuel tank. So what happens is this end is too big, the fill side, and the vent side is too small. So luckily on the hose, on the vent one, I was just able to cut off the expanded part, and the hose was more than long enough. I still had plenty to put on there, you know. So that was not a big deal. Now, trying to expand a 31.5 millimeter hose onto this end that's 38 millimeters was virtually impossible for me, especially in the position that we are here. So I just simply took the hose, flipped it around, and I was able to, you know, then it goes on that side fine. Makes this side really tight, but you got room here to work with. I preheated the hose with a heat gun. Of course, don't do this around any gasoline. And I made it more pliable, put a little lithium grease inside, and I also had to cut off, that's about 1 inch right there of the hose, because when I got it all the way on here, and there's kind of a stop, okay, the hose was resting on this metal, and I didn't like that. So by cutting this off, I was able to push the hose on further, and that also keeps it from kinking too. Okay, and all I need to do is put that cover back on right here, and then you reconnect. Now back here at your electrical connection, and you got your fuel line and your vent line. I found that I had to push the fuel line, just kind of bend it a little bit back this way to make the fuel line fit okay. And then they supplied you with a 3/8 inch hose for the vent line, which is too large. I did purchase 1 foot of 1/4 inch fuel line and for the vent, and then that works good. Then tie wrap your electrical and everything up, and that's about it for the installation. Here's a shot of the left side of the fuel cell. Over here on the side of with the exhaust pipe, I took some thermal wrap right here and just put a layer there and just barely around the corner. I don't think it's really necessary, but I just happen to have some. Now for me, I did cut out the tailpipe to get it in here. Not saying that's necessary. If you can maybe get it pulled over and strapped maybe to the leaf spring. And if you can get someone to help you, when you guide this thing in, if you can possibly angle it in by bringing this lip up and around the exhaust pipe and then raise this side up, you may not have any problems with the tailpipe at all. I was by myself. I wasn't able to, my exhaust system is stiff enough, I wasn't able to get it over far enough just to lift it up into place. This, you know, all this metal here was a hindrance as it came up. So I ended up cutting the exhaust back here. I actually ran a little dumper for a little while. I just had a little tailpipe dumping down. It sounds really cool, but the resonation inside the cab was too much. And I finally just hooked the exhaust pipe back up and welded in a piece. Here's a shot from underneath. Alright, well there you have it. It's not too bad of an install, especially if you got help. Kind of recommend that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't subscribed to me before, if you'd hit that subscribe button down there and the little bell symbol right next to it, that way you get notifications any new videos I got coming out. And if you found that informational useful, you'd give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Alright, thanks.